to Asyn Code. If you want more coding fun, hit like, subscribe, and let's get started on the next tutorial. This example is a simple arcade-style game where the player controls a spaceship to avoid falling asteroids. The game is built using the Pygame library, which is widely used for creating 2D games in Python. Import the Pygame library to handle graphics, events, and game mechanics. Import the random library to generate random numbers, used for asteroid positions. Initialize Pygame to set up the game environment and load necessary resources. Game constants, configuration values used throughout the game. The width of the game window in pixels. The height of the game window in pixels. Width of the player's spaceship. Height of the player's spaceship. Width of the asteroids. Height of the asteroids. Speed at which the player moves left or right. Speed at which the asteroids fall down the screen. Color white used for the player and text RGB format. Background color black. Color red for the asteroids RGB format. Screen setup. Creating the display window with the specified width and height. Setting the title of the game window. Player setup. Create a surface to represent the player. Fill the player's surface with white color, makes the player visible. Get the rectangle of the player's image for position and collision handling. Position the player horizontally in the center of the screen. Position the player near the bottom of the screen, 10 pixels above. Asteroid setup. Initialize an empty list to hold asteroid objects. Each asteroid will be represented as a rectangle. Game loop control. Boolean flag that controls the main game loop. Set to false to stop the game. Game clock to control the frame rate, 60 FPS in this case. Game over flag. This flag indicates whether the game is over, collision happened, or player lost. Font setup for displaying text on the screen. Font object for rendering text, Arial, 30px font size. Function to display text on the screen. Draws the given text on the screen at the specified x, y position with the specified color. Text is the text to display, x and y are the screen coordinates to position the text, color is the color to render the text in. Create a surface with the rendered text. Draw the text at the given position on the screen. Function to create a new asteroid. Generates a new asteroid at a random position at the top of the screen. The asteroid falls down the screen. Returns the created asteroid's rectangle object. Random horizontal position within screen width. Define asteroid's rectangle. Return the new asteroid's rectangle object. Function to check for collisions between the player and any asteroids. Checks if the player has collided with any asteroid. If a collision is detected, the game will end. Set game_over flag to true. Access the global game underscore over variable to change its state. Loop through each asteroid. Check if the player's rectangle intersects with the asteroid's rectangle. If collision occurs, set game underscore over to true. Exit the loop once a collision is detected. No need to check further. Main game loop. Event handling. Check for any user events, such as key presses or closing the window. If the player closes the window, stop the game loop. Player movement control. Check for key presses to move the player. Get the current state of all keyboard keys. Move left if the left arrow key is pressed. Move player left by player underscore speed pixels. Move right if the right arrow key is pressed. Move player right by player underscore speed pixels. Asteroid generation. Create new asteroids at random intervals. 2% chance to create an asteroid every frame. Add a new asteroid to the list. Move asteroids down the screen. Move each asteroid downwards by asteroid underscore speed pixels. If the asteroid falls off the bottom of the screen, remove the asteroid from the list. It is no longer on screen. Check for collisions between the player and asteroids. Only check collisions if the game is not already over. Call the collision handling function. Clear the screen by filling it with black color. Draw the player's spaceship on the screen. Draw all asteroids on the screen. If the game is over, show the Game Over message. Centered Game Over text. Instructions to restart. Update the screen to show the new frame with the text. Skip the rest of the game loop to wait for the player to press R to restart. Display the score, the number of asteroids the player has avoided. Update the screen to show the newly drawn frame. Control the frame rate to make the game run at 60 frames per second. Handle restarting the game when the player presses the R key. Check the current state of the keys. if the R key is pressed. Reset the game over flag. Reset the player's position to the center of the screen. Position the player just above the bottom. Clear the list of asteroids. Close the Pygame library once the game loop ends. Now run our code. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe for more fun content.